Well, I'm glad you recognize that yes, things are complicated. As Kai Khan has noted, the experience of Britain's former colonial holdings was remarkably different from that of the other colonial powers. Unlike the other colonial powers, the British, as a rule, left their colonial holdings in a better shape than when they got them. I'll continue to speak about Malaysia, since I'm Malaysian. Before the British came, the Malay Peninsula was undeveloped, had zero infrastructure, a generally uneducated populace, and was basically running off low levels of trade and agriculture. The British came and they brought infrastructure development, roads, railways, telephone lines, telegraph lines, power grid, factories, hospitals. They established the courts and the rule of law instead of autocratic rule by the sultans of each state. They provided education to all Malayans. They established the civil service. The list goes on and on. The British took Malaysia from being just a kampung in the middle of nowhere and gave us the foundation to rise up to where we are. Yes, there were missteps along the way. Yes, the British colonial governance did suck, but the British did leave Malaya in a better state than when they first got it. And as for racism, well, we didn't need the British to teach us that. Look up the May 13 riots, which happened in 1969. That was a good 12 years after the British left Malaya, and 6 years after they left Sabah and Sarawak. And, that's the big difference between Britain's former colonial holdings and the other European powers. Yes, we were exploited to the hilt, but we also benefited a fair bit, and I dare say Malaysia would probably be better off today if it had remained a British colony like Hong Kong had. And on the whole, we were treated a lot better than the other European powers treated their colonial holdings. Probably because the other colonial powers seem to have been interested primarily in exploitation, what they could get out of their colonies, whereas the British did want to get their money's worth out of India, Malaya, Hong Kong, all their colonies. They did want to get their money's worth, yes, but at the same time they took seriously the concept that it was the British Empire. And so the infrastructure was very similar to what you would see in England and not backward like in Africa in the other European holdings, because the British wanted to bring Britain with them, establishing it sort of in a small scale, as much as they could, wherever they were. British Empire. Pretty much that. And yes, even today, an accent like this is still considered refined, posh, educated, and it is also my natural accent. There is a very long story as to how I picked up this accent while growing up in a jungle.